You're listening to What's Your Damage? Long Shots, where the cast of the world's best 5th edition narrative-heavy actual play podcast based on Filipino mythology and our friends play games other than D&D. The game for this long shot is Brindlewood Bay by Jason Cordova. And now, on to the show.
I think Doris's first instinct when Edward collapses is to, go help, but the number of people that rush to him immediately leaves her thinking they've probably got it under control. So I think she would, while they're working on him and trying to resuscitate him, she would be whipping her head around and looking for the guy that shouted out about keeping promises.
Rosemary and Doris, you are trailing after the man who is trying to get out of the grasp of the two incredibly large bodyguards. And as you watch, the two of them look at each other and nod and punch him out.
Oh, heavens.
You notice something fall out of his pocket. You see the name Arlo Emmett. He works for Stork Company. Ladies, I have an idea for how we can all really work well together in this. So,
oh, please do. You know we love your ideas.
You stay with the bodies. It appears to be a smell coming from the handkerchief itself. It's very well known to you, the smell being cyanide.
And I'm going to swipe that key if I can find it quickly.
You move that no one notices that you kind of palm the fancy letter. And as you take a quick look at this, you read, "My dearest Marina, soon we'll be far enough away that no stork shall ever find us. A.E."
Oh.
Pressed against the glass, you see an expressionless mask floating there ominously as it points directly at you, Minette. And as you shake your head, it's all of a sudden gone.
That's not better.
Just got to give them a little bop sometimes.
Yeah.
Right there in their nose.
So the first one to greet you is David, who goes up to your knees.
Hideous.
Doris is glancing around and sort of smoothing down her cardigan, going, "Oh, don't I just feel like the mud at the dog show?"
I waggle my eyebrows at him as he walks away.
Do you have a Groucho Marx cigar? Well, thankfully no one's going to die today.
Oh, it's statistically very untrue, but probably not here.
Okay, so he goes, okay. Well, things just got complicated, ladies.
Oh, don't I know it?
Well, I think they've been complicated for a little minute, sir, but yes.
So this is now a crime scene. I guess I'm going to have to begin the beginning. All right, we'll start with Marina. And unfortunately, this time I'm no time for pleasantries, as this is business now. As he heads off to Marina and Asha.
Be gentle with her, officer. She's had a heck of a shock today.
Yeah, indeed she has. Indeed she has.
Remember to be polite. Always polite.
Mind your manners. You'll do just fine.
You need me to go with you?
Rosemary's gonna Adelaide's gonna look at Rosemary and just be like, "Dear, I think you're forgetting about the," and just kind of give her a key turning motion, and then winks at her. She goes, I'd better go look at that temp. Oh God, Jesus, I just forgot the fucking word.
Thermostat.
Thank you. Temperature gauge. What is that? It's she's not that senile.
Better go look at that thermostat.
I'll go with you, dear.
Yeah, and then she just hip checks the security guard as she goes past.
Get his ass, Adelaide.
Sassy. I think Doris is going to go with her because, my husband was a handyman and I picked up a thing or two about a thing or two.
I think what Officer Ruth thought but did not say when Minette said, "Mind your manners," what was it?
I said be polite, and Doris said mind your manners.
I think what he thought internally, but did not dare verbalize, was, yes, because the French are famously polite.
It's a shame he didn't, because I feel like that would have made Minette like him a little bit more.
And Doris would have corrected him. Oh, no, that's French Canadians you're thinking of.
Okay, so it's going to be Adelaide with Doris to go look at the thermostat, and is it going to be Minette and Rosemary for the key?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And again, Minette will offer her elbow to Rosemary and lead her over.
I'm in.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, with Minette and Rosemary, as you start to head back towards the office, you see Edward is still there looking at the miniature of Pennsylvania town, Massachusetts. And he turns and goes, "Oh, hello again, Rosemary. Hello again. No, first time. Apologies. I don't know your name. I'm
Minette Lebeau.
Minette Lebeau. Ah, so you're from the Vichy part of France."
She is delighted that he caught this.
As he surveys the area, he goes, he puts his hand on the table, and he puts his hand on the part of the table that is supposed to have his big project. However, it seems like a miniature has been made of the rubble. He goes, "Well, I don't know what we're all doing here, but I think I need a little bit of just time outside myself. Excuse me, ladies."
Some fresh air would definitely do us all some good. Is there a way out directly to the outdoors from this room?
There is, yes.
I will shepherd him that direction while palming the key off to Minette.
Minette winks at Rosemary.
So as Rosemary is walking with Milton, if she wants to try to get any information from him, now would be the opportune time to do it.
I would love to talk to him about, his emotional state and his feelings about the rubble. We can just talk about anything that makes his little heart feel lighter today.
In that case, give me the meddling move with your presence.
8.
Okay. As you two are walking, he goes, "Edward and I were friends for a long time. I mean, the name of my company, Birdshot, that's just good humor between old friends," he says with an edge to his voice as he lopes to the exterior door.
I feel like, Edward said some pretty harsh things right before he passed out, and I just don't know that I think that's fair. Would you like to tell me how you feel about all of this? This just seems very complicated.
I had a private detective, because, no offense, but Officer Ruth is kind of pointless.
I completely understand, but he's doing the best he can, and that's why we're here to help. We help him keep our community safe by keeping eyes out when he's busy.
I think he looks at you with a bless your heart sort of look to his face, yes, to his sunken eyes, and he goes, "I think we may have found the man who burned down my building."
Oh dear. Was he at this event tonight? Is that why you're feeling so out of sorts about it? It seems like you're extra sad about the rubble today.
Edward liked to go to Italy. He wanted to name something Brucchiere or Buccieri. That's how you say it. You know what that means in Italian?
I do not. I don't speak Italian.
The burning. I guess name is destiny after all. As he says that, Minette, you are rolling that. This is the night move. Give me the night move, but with advantage because she is running interference on our man, Milton.
Sweet. And am I rolling reason?
I think you're rolling vitality on this one.
Vitality.
Oh my God.
No, I hit it twice. Oh, but the first one was a critical success.
Oh, God. So you're going to get oh, God.
Ba, ba, ba. Royalty-free victory music.
Royalty-free victory music. Holy shit. Minette cannot miss. Okay, so what you get for a night move, and I actually think this should be a meddling move, so I'm going to double over on that and give you
Another void clue?
You're getting 2 void clues today, Minette. Holy fuck. Okay, here we go. As you open the door, and you do it quietly, I imagine?
Of course.
She's a fascinating woman, and I would love to know her backstory one of these days. Although I feel like if I ever learned it, I would be murdered for knowing it. She is known as Le Chai or Le Chat in France because she was a cat burglar, you see.
Does she have a penchant for wearing pink?
And I thought those were called cougars.
So it seems like divine intervention has given you another key piece of information. As your eyes fall on this, we cut to Doris and Adelaide, who are going for the temperature gauge, also known as the thermostat.
Well, Elliot thinks about what this important clue might be.
Oh, I have the clue. I just want the tension.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he'll never does it to me. It's fine.
Does he?
No. He does it to you too.
Yeah.
As you guys are going to find the thermostat, oddly enough, the thermostat is pretty far away from the main room. As you pass, it is right next to the guest bathroom. As you were searching for the gauges, you realize that Adelaide at 5'2", Doris O'Malfi at
5'4".
Doris, you are roughly the same height as Marina. But what's so strange about it is most thermostats are placed with accessibility in mind.
Roughly eye level.
Right. This was not. It was as if it was placed for the comfort of one person at the exclusion of another. Because as we all know, Mr. Stork was a rather large man. Not as tall as Milton, but 6'2", 6'3", somewhere around there. And you would know that this would have to be custom made. So it is high up there. It is, you can't really access it even with your arms outstretched. You can kind of feel it, but you can't really see what's going on there.
Oh, gosh.
Well, he certainly did design this house, didn't he?
I will never understand why some people are so selfish. And I think
Well, if you met the rest of his family, I think you know.
Oh, well, apple didn't fall far from the tree, huh?
No, certainly didn't. I have to say, I was glad he never had kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Last of the storks
yeah, I've
in
known
the
some
area,
folks like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think while we're chatting and while Adelaide is trying to fiddle with the out of reach thermostat, Doris is also glancing around the hallway to see if she can spot any security cameras.
She indeed does spot a security camera.
Oh, excellent. Adelaide, I have an idea. Let's go see if the security cameras picked up anyone messing with the thermostat. That might be easier than...
Oh, that certainly sounds good. Do you know how to use those camera thingamajigs?
Oh, my son is great with computers. He taught me a thing or two.
Oh, good.
And yeah, they'll just toddle
yeah,
on down to the security office.
I feel like it's just becoming a thing with Doris that there's somebody in her enormous family that taught her something useful about something. Like not enough to be an expert, but enough to be dangerous.
Yeah, as you can see where the security room is, you can hear that somebody is behind the door. And you hear the wheels of their chair slide up close to the door and are you what are you ladies doing?
Oh, I thought there was a bathroom down this way. Is there not?
No, just turn around. It's before you get here.
Oh, gotcha. What's this room then?
Security, ma'am.
Oh, I see. You got all those newfangled computers and cameras and stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my friend and I here, we're just talking. It got so dang hot in that room, right before. Well, and we thought, maybe it would be worthwhile to see if someone was tampering with the house,
or to just check and see what that is set on. My grandson Marty, he told me they have all these smart thingamajigs now, and did you know that some of these stores, they keep their places hot on purpose? They set it remotely and they just don't care what the local temperature is. And I'm just wondering how safe that is to let somebody else mess with your thermostat like that.
In this case, with meddling, one of you roll me meddling with presence.
Do you want me to roll it because I have a plus?
You can go ahead. Yeah, I don't trust myself with dice with. Or I don't trust dice with me. I don't know.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Oof. 4. 5. Oh, 5 with, that's not great.
That is a miss. So Doris, with the meddling move on a miss, he goes, "Sorry, ladies. That's just not a thing I'm going to do. We had a possible murder. We have a possible murder of the man of the house. I'm not letting anybody in here."
Sure. I understand. No, I wouldn't want to interfere, but, I think it might be worth taking a look if you wouldn't mind. Not me, but you.
You know what? I'll certainly take a look at my earliest convenience. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate your help.
Sure thing, ladies. Sure thing.
And Doris is making a mental note to go talk to Officer Ruth.
Adelaide pats Doris's hand. She goes, Sonny, while we have you, where did you say that bathroom was again?
Boy, howdy, huh? You're just going to go down the same hall that you took to get down here, and then when the opening to your left hand side, that's the bathroom.
The same hall. Okay, I've got it.
And then she turns and walks the wrong way.
I think Doris is going to go with her. I don't think I'm going to correct her on this. She might have something in mind.
I'm gonna be honest about what she's trying to do here. She's waiting for him to correct her.
As Adelaide goes down the wrong hallway, we cut to Minette, who is opening the drawer, and it seems as if God himself has bestowed upon you the exact clue that you need, because what you see is a blackmail letter daring to expose Mr. Stork for his part in the Bicari building burning. As you are looking at it, it's at the same time that Rosemary, you hear Milton go, Yeah, I think I found him. I think I know who he is. And I'm not going to lie, Rosemary, for some reason I feel like I can tell you almost anything.
Well, of course. I'm just here to listen and support you in your time of need.
I had a lot of money tied up in that building.
Oh, sure.
A lot of money. But I am going to go take a walk. Thank you, ladies.
I'll pat him on as high as I can reach back,
So yeah, the mid of his back.
Yeah.
As he opens the door, a cool wisp of wind carries in, and Minette, you hear on that wind "We see you, Minette."
Booby.
Don't like the spooky. Minette once again will kind of shiver like a kind of shake like a shiver and down the back of her neck, and just put everything to rights in the room, taking the letter and slipping it down the sleeve of her other arm.
She's going to have a full close magic show when she's done. Pick a letter, any letter. Any letter's a lucky letter.
Bet your sweet Bippy.
Do you guys have anything else that you want to do in this room, or are you guys going to try to reconvene?
I'm comfortable reconvening.
Okay, as you guys are about to head back to the main room, you hear a slam on the glass door, and as you both turn, you see a crow slowly sliding down it, having ran as fast as it could into this glass door.
Eee.
What time of day is it?
Nighttime. It is as dead as Edward.
It's Ed dead. No Ed dead redemption here.
Sadie, no, but Sadie, yes.
That was awful.
I'm so sorry.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you
no,
for
that goes into the Sadie, no, but Sadie, yes.
As you guys are going back to reconvene, I think we meet Adelaide's former nemesis and nemesis again. As you were going down the hall, the same man who blocked you before is here. He's like, I got word from headquarters that you were trying to find the bathroom and you went down the wrong hallway.
Oh, information moves fast. I didn't even know that.
Go back the way you came and then go down the other hallway. There's two choices. Use the other one, not this one.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
These old lady brains, we get so mixed up sometimes, especially in such a big, beautiful house.
How tall is this man?
He is 6'1". He is right around the height that you would need.
She's like, Adelaide is going to look back and forth between the halls and then start going down the wrong one.
Oh my God.
There's only two hallways. How are you doing this? You literally go that way. The only way that you can go that's not this way. He says, do you need me to...
Young man, you do not have to yell. And in fact, why don't you show us where this alleged bathroom is?
He looks around. He's like, "There's this hallway, and then you can see we're all looking at this. We all see the same thing."
Him down the
right?
wrong hall again.
And Doris kind of like gestures at Adelaide and catches his eye and mouths dementia.
And I think what you see is he just suddenly goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, ma'am. Let me go with you." He says as he ushers you down the only other hallway that you have.
Yes, I can't believe that worked.
Oh, aren't you a sweet dear?
Oh, as he goes, my Mima had it too, so I get you. As he goes,
oh, never you mind.
Don't worry about it.
As they pass the thermostat, she's going to go,
Oh, Robbie, honey, would you check on the temperature in here? It's awfully hot.
When did we decide that my name was Robbie?
Your parents named you, honey.
That's not what my parents named me. They named me Lance.
Is it Lance now, or did you do one of those changing things? That's okay. I'll call you Lance now.
Hasn't been changed. Still Lance. Always been Lance. But let me look at the thermostat. He says as he gets up and he goes, as he tries to put it to the left, which would be cooling, he goes, it's jammed.
Oh, did you say
that's
someone has got jam in the thermostat cage?
No, honey. The thermostat is jammed.
Oh.
Got stuck. Which does seem awful odd. I mean, considering how well Mr. Edward takes care of his home. I mean,
And it's so high up on that wall. Now that is just some architecture there.
that's a custom job for sure. That's a man who takes pride in his home. I don't imagine how he would have, neglected to fix that if it were broken before.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't even broken earlier today.
We just spoke with a nice young man in the security room, who I think might be reviewing footage of this hallway. I sure would hate it if we found out that somebody had been tampering with the thermostat and then all this happened. It just...
You actually hear on the radio at that point, he goes like, weirdly, I did check that, but there doesn't seem to be any footage of that time because there's a 20-minute gap missing from 6:45 to 7:05.
Well, did you check the backup on the cloud?
I did. Thank you.
That's a question my son taught me to ask. You always check the backup on the cloud. Not sure what it means, but it's important.
God handles data now.
So, yeah, I'm. Well, that's severely strange. I don't know who would have access to this.
Or is that high? That's still awfully high for a thermostat.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to be awful tall to reach it.
Or have a chair.
Yeah, Mr. Stork did not want Marina to change the temperature.
Well, that's just rude. They share a house.
It's just like a man, really.
Depends on what's in his heart. It's like I always say.
Okay, so ladies, here's the bathroom.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Robbie. Lance. You remembered to call your grandmother.
She's dead, but thank you. I'll remember to visit her grave.
She just pats him on the arm.
I'm sure she'd love to hear from you anyway. And Doris is going to lead Adelaide into the bathroom. The more I think about it, the more I think this is probably a stunt they've pulled before. Like this suddenly, like, oh, Adelaide, and she just plays along like, oh, whoa, where am I?
She picked up on it. She was just like, yeah, no.
yeah, totally. It's like, oh, we're doing the dementia thing. Gotcha.
As you guys are in the bathroom, do you wait for him to pass and then go reconvene with the rest, or
yeah,
what would you like to do?
We'll give him a hot minute.
Yeah, I think
then head out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think while we're in there, Doris is going to just kind of like theorize some more about, it has to be somebody tall. It has to be somebody who has access to erase the security footage. So they've got to have the technical know-how and access to the security room. This is pointing towards somebody who's got to be pretty close to Edward in his life.
Oh, I do hate to say it, but I think we need to take a hard look at little Milton. Oh, I don't want it to be that, but I have to say, Edward would have had a long time coming if it was Milton.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, we can't let personal feelings get in the way. The clothes take us where they take us.
They do indeed.
So as you guys were pocket theorizing, you do see your other two Mavens, and you are all together as Officer Ruth is like, all right, now to talk to Mr. Milton. All right. He's still in that room?
No.
Oh, he
cool.
He needed to go outside and get some fresh air. He's having a real hard time with this whole event.
Okay, outside. Okay, I'll be back. As he leaves.
And then Minette is going to slowly pull out the lap from her other sleeve and unfold it and read it. Be like,
There's like, you just have those things tucked everywhere, don't you?
Yes. She'll just like with a flourish display the letter to the other three.
Oh dear, it really isn't looking good for Milton.
And then she'll tell them what they found.
There are two other things that have been slightly concerning to me. First, there was, we'll say, a phantom in the burned out apartment buildings that had a white mask that pointed at me when I was in Marina's room with Doris. And then a voice when I was in the study that said, Minette, we see you.
Minette, dear, you know I love you, and I only ask this because I because I have to ask.
I know what you'll say. I know what you'll say, and I know you'll think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy.
No, that's not what I'm saying, but I just got to check. Have you taken your medication today?
You know I don't take any medications, darling.
Okay.
Did you drink the tea that I gave you?
I only do that when I want to have a good time alone. Point being, there's something else going on that I'm not entirely sure of what it is.
And we hear you. Do we think that it has anything to do with this case, though?
And she'll just kind of make a couple like gestures like probably not.
Non-committal shrug.
Maybe.
I suggest that we put this in the ongoing problems section.
You do tell us if you see anything else, and we'll get to the bottom of that.
And the ongoing problems list, I think, really should start with the murder or potential murder we're trying to work on. So let's see what we can do about, medications and things we see out windows later.
Exactly. That is, basically what that section's for, right? So, I mean, I really do think that poor Milton is looking like our most obvious suspect here, though. There was that Arlo fellow you mentioned. How tall was that man?
Well, he was chained to a bench when I saw him, so I'm not real good at estimating when people are sitting.
Oh, he went off in the woods, you say?
Yeah, he cut his bonds. I think they used one of the newfangled zip ties, and those just aren't as sturdy as handcuffs. And then he took off when I told him that Edward was still alive.
That does seem awful suspicious. Doris is slightly checked out of this conversation because she's very busy slowly fiddling with her phone to add Minette's concerns to the ongoing concerns list that she keeps on an app that her daughter taught her how to use. She also uses it for groceries.
They might occasionally get mixed.
Yeah.
Ongoing concern.
She's like, face in the window. I don't think I can get that at Menards.
Well, I just don't know why broccoli is the third thing on your concerns list.
So do we think that this Arlo fellow has anything to do with the case, though? He was acting suspicious, and Milton always was the smart one of that pair. I think he might know better than to just publicly murder his old partner.
Well, I feel like we should all know better than that.
Yes, we really should.
That's just good manners.
It is just good manners.
Praise in public, murder in private.
That's right. So I feel like, are you trying to say that maybe Arlo was working with Milton?
Well, I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm just sort of putting it out there in case something clicks. Because, they both have the same problem where they're both very suspicious people. And this Arlo fellow did come and shout and make it seem like he wanted Edward dead.
Is it possible that Arlo was meant to be a distraction somehow?
Well, I think we were all quite distracted with his yelling and interruptions.
Oh, about what time was that? Do we remember?
Elliot, do we remember?
Yeah, about the time that the video footage went out.
Oh.
Do we remember seeing Milton when the shouting was happening?
No, they were all, all of our suspects so far were all up visible at that point in time.
Yeah. He wasn't at the thermostat or in the security room.
Exactly.
Well, what we haven't considered yet is what if security is in on this?
Oh no.
Oh gosh. Those fake handcuffs they used didn't work out so well. And they have not been very helpful with our investigation. And maybe they deleted the footage.
Maybe so. They were awful quick to tell us about it.
And we're awful quick to make a scene when they dragged Arlo out.
And they did want me to get away from the body, even though I wasn't doing anything.
I don't know. That one young man was very helpful with helping us find the bathroom.
He was. After you told him I had dementia.
Well, that's a good point.
I don't know where else we could investigate, though. That's my only thing.
I think we need to find out who gets the payout from the life insurance. I think that might lead us somewhere.
Was that not in the letter?
Minette, I remember you taking that letter out, but bless my old lady brain, I can't remember what it said. Will you tell me again?
Oh, the first letter?
No, the second letter.
It was. What did it say?
It was a blackmail letter.
Oh, it's the blackmail letter.
Expose.
Yes.
And that was signed by whom? Or was it not signed? I guess it wouldn't be signed. It's a blackmail letter. Duh. Yeah. By the way, this is the person blackmailing you. I am invincible.
Did it tell them how to get the blackmailer the money or how to contact them or something? Like,
Yeah, it did give instructions where to drop off the money. The drop-off point was his air bar.
Does it have a time and date?
It does have a time and a date. The time was 2 days ago, or the date was 2 days ago.
Oh, the drop-off date was 2 days ago?
Yeah, and you would get the sense that he probably did not pay.
Yeah, the the evidence seems to reflect.
right. Is this like computer printed or is it handwritten?
Computer printed.
How much money was the blackmail asking for?
It was asking for $1 million.
How much was his life insurance for? Did Marina say?
$5 million.
Are we sure the body's really dead?
Oh, yes. It's very close to that.
I'm very sure he's dead. I'm so sorry I confused you. I only meant to confuse Arlo.
Yeah, if you do want to try to get another clue, you totally can. And so that would be Marina and Asha that are still left.
I think we should go talk to Marina.
Okay. Okay. As the four of you make your way to Marina, she and Asha are sitting on the bed side by side. She goes, "Oh, hi, ladies."
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Let me give you a hug, you poor thing.
Oh, thanks. Okay. As she wraps her, I think she's very cautious with the way, because Adelaide is very old and she is trying not to hurt her, but she is trying to be warm.
I think she's going to hug her and like turn her head to Asha as she's hugging Marina, wink, and mouth the word congratulations.
How does Asha respond? Did she and really, what did Asha look like when she saw us come into the room? Does she have any emotional, mini tics?
Asha is kind of surprised that you are all back here, but she seems pretty calm about it. When Adelaide mouths congratulations, she again stifles a chuckle as Marina goes, do you have more questions?
At the same time you guys are talking with Marina, I would love to see if I can engage Asha in conversation about how she and how her relationship with Milton is, given that, her close friend just lost her husband.
Okay, yeah. So as they engage Marina, you want to engage Asha. Okay, yeah. So in that case, if you want to get some more information from these two, it's going to be the meddling move. And I think it would be presence for both of these because they like you. So I'm going to say that Marina is going to give you an advantage. So whoever wants to roll that for her.
Okay. Who wants to roll that for her? I should not touch dice.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and roll it. And, we've sort of established a rapport already, so that makes sense. Yeah, 7.
Okay. And then Rosemary, hit me with that meddling move.
Without advantage, correct?
You haven't really talked to her a lot, so no. Okay, yeah. So with your 3, you can see that as you try to talk to her, she's like, yeah, no. She's politely distant as she's keeping an eye on Marina, who is a little bit more forthcoming. So what do you ask her?
I think Doris is going to try to gently break the news about Edward being blackmailed. Just kind of give her the details. Like, I know this may come as a shock, but we have reason to believe that there was someone who was resorting to some pretty underhanded tactics to try and get your Edward's money. Here's what we know, and it sounds like they were supposed to meet him at the Oxygen Bar 2 days ago. Given everything that's happened, I'm guessing maybe Edward didn't show.
No, Edward was in his office all day.
Do you have any idea who might have been blackmailing him?
I unfortunately don't know that, but
did he mention having trouble with anyone, or somebody he know maybe that?
Well, he and Milton had called him a couple of days before, and really they had gotten into a screaming match. Actually, I think he called him the night that you were talking about, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oofda.
And there is this leftover concern with, because they had been partners for such a long time, it took a lot to unwind their mutual finances.
Oh, sure. You betcha.
When you have a business, especially one as large as my husband's, and you have a partner who's indelible to that success, Edward refused to sign the paperwork that would completely dissolve it. And so they were still beholden to each other in some ways.
Very, very unfortunate for poor Milton. Poor little Milton.
I mean, this experience has aged him like 20 years just overnight. So maybe he's not little Milton anymore.
He clearly isn't doing very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know who could have blackmailed him, but I know that he wasn't going to pay because, if you're on top of the world, what do you care about ants? That's what my husband said.
He was always quite the charmer now, wasn't he?
And he wanted to buy Lighthouse Books, and he wanted to franchise a Amazon Prime store.
Okay, Doris isn't going to say anything, and she's very carefully controlling her face, because she's way too polite to verbalize this, but she's suddenly glad he's dead.
Because that is another option that you guys do have available to you. Is you can theorize, and you'll roll, and it will be correct if you roll high enough, and you can also not bring up information to the cops.
Speaking of Lighthouse Books, I wonder if it wouldn't be good for us to pay a visit there and maybe have a nice cup of tea and just talk this over.
Well, I was thinking about the same thing myself. A cup of tea does help everything, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what kind of tea.
Oh, doesn't it indeed?
I now have this theory that Doris has tried the specialty as well and really enjoys it and does not want to know what's in it.
Accurate.
So, do you guys catch a ride with Sarah back to the?
I mean, if she's still
bookstore?
hanging around, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly, she's just like, okay, so we're okay. Yeah. Officer, are we good to go? He's like, yeah, got Edward. Don't worry about it. A long night for Officer Ruth, he says as he goes back in and starts to talk with Edward. As she drives you all the way back to the bookstore, she goes, well, that was fucking crazy. Well, that was fudging crazy.
Thank you.
Very good, dear.
Mm.
It certainly was quite the night, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quite the night indeed.
Where was Sarah in all of this?
Hmm?
I said, where was Sarah in all of this? I'm just being pedantic.
She was milling around with the other party attendees who were just
Staring at the corpse in shock.
shocked and horrified, and then corralled by the police into a room where they could be, briefly questioned.
Yeah, like normal human beings would. So, given the clues, what are you guys thinking?
Sometimes I'm thinking that, well, these things just don't turn out the way you want them to. Like, you want answers, but there just aren't answers to be found,
Are you a murder maven or not?
Oh, I am a murder maven.
There's always an answer.
Oh, there's always an answer, but
We'll
sometimes
sort this
the
out.
answers are best left undiscovered. It's called a cliffhanger.
As she fixes everyone tea.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like Amanda Delacourt would not let a mystery go unsolved. I think we need to continue working on this.
Hmm.
True.
You know what's bothering me? I can't figure out how Arlo fits into all of this. And why on earth would you hire ex-military to do your antique furniture?
Oh, all right. Okay, you girls have twisted my arm. So I'll just try and put this plainly now.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew the boys when they were boys, you'd probably see it. But little Edward doesn't like being told no, and he definitely does not like it when people try to pull away when he thinks they're his. He is that kind of guy. So when little Milton told him that he was no longer going to be in business with him, which he never should have done in the first place, but people will make their mistakes, Edward did what Edward does, and he hired an antique dealer to do some, I don't know a good metaphor for this, but he wasn't an antique dealer. He did something. He probably started that fire. He's probably very ornery about the fact that Edward didn't pay him, because why would you pay someone to do something illegal?
Sure.
Not like he can go to court to get his money back, right? Or to get his money, I should say.
So Arlo was... You're saying Edward hired Arlo to hassle Little Milton.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that does make sense.
Now, I do have a mild suspicion that this is not as simple as it looks, and Edward hired a private investigator, and Milton hired a private investigator, and he found out that Edward is the one who did the burning. Mm-hmm. So he goes and he blackmails Edward, who doesn't pay, and they're having a whole fit. And then Arlo approaches Edward at part of a plan, and they get together and they do this whole thing together.
Arlo approaches Edward or Milton?
Milton. Sorry. We've been going back and forth with those names all day. It's a whole thing.
They've been friends for so long, sometimes it's hard to tell them apart.
Exactly. It was, I don't know, maybe it's a confused narrative, but
No, I think that makes sense. Well, and especially if Arlo didn't feel that he was getting fair treatment from Edward, he might have...
And maybe there was no private investigator. Maybe Arlo just told Milton.
Maybe. Is Milton the killing kind?
I don't think so, based on my interactions with him in the office.
No.
He's got a kindness behind his eyes that I just didn't expect to find.
He does, but sometimes you push people too far and you will be surprised what they do. More tea?
Oh, yes, please.
Now, I don't particularly know this Arlo fellow or like somebody who I think would set a fire, but perhaps better not to implicate poor little Milton, who's already been pushed around so far. You see how his health is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say something horrible, and I do not care, but is it really so bad that he is dead?
No.
No.
And
Doris strategically, silently sips her tea with a raised eyebrow.
And if anyone is at fault, are they truly at fault? Or are they all victims of a terrible man doing terrible things? Who got his comeuppance?
I mean, I'm having a hard time figuring out where there's not a happy ending here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we can let a murderer get away with it, despite the fact that they may have done a good thing.
Well, and also it may very well have been not the intention of the murder. Like, if you have, the brow soak, maybe it was all meant to make him look a fool. And he was merely meant to faint, and that was it. But things happened, and now he's dead. And no tears lost.
But I don't feel like cyanide's a fainting drug.
It also is not a contact drug. It's one that you ingest.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever tried to kill him by putting cyanide on his handkerchief, on his hanky, was stupid.
Perhaps it was meant as a warning. That is sort of what Arlo was getting at, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Did that blackmail letter have an or else at the end? Like, was he actually threatened, or was it just give me $1 million? The end.
That's exactly how I would write a blackmail letter. Give me money. The end.
Yeah, the threat is exposure, that he'll be exposed.
Which crime specifically?
Setting the fire.
Oh, okay. Right. Look, it's past my bedtime.
I know, right?
I'm just trying to keep up.
Well, perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps the two are unconnected. I do still think that little Milton had something to do with the blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just not sure he had anything to do with the murder.
I suppose I'm just worried he's going to get caught up in this.
What makes the most sense to me is that Arlo was working for Edward, bullying Milton again, and he must have had a change of heart if he changed sides to then work with Milton. And it's entirely possible if he had his own axe to grind against Edward, having been employed with him, and frankly, who wouldn't? He may have gotten a little overzealous in taking things into his own hands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible that he was acting on behalf of Milton, but not at Milton's request.
Or perhaps thinking that poor Milton would take the fall.
Okay, yeah, having met Arlo, that does seem more likely.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps the security people are under his employ.
Oh, well, that could very well be. He would have gotten to know them while he was working for Edward. It's entirely possible that he talked some of them into going along with this plan.
And he is a military type. They all do seem like military types.
Well, and based on the speech he gave, Edward wasn't very pleasant to be around, much less work for, I think, across the board. I feel like I wouldn't want to be in his security role.
No, Edward does not strike me as the kind of man who inspires a lot of loyalty.
No.
He doesn't strike me as a kind man at all.
Well said, Rosemary.
So, we think we like Arlo for this?
We like Arlo for this.
Arlo and the security team.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to decide what to do with this information.
Well, obviously, we should take it to Officer Ruth. He'll know what to do.
Is that obvious?
Will he?
Oh, sorry. I was trying sarcasm.
Yes, very good, very.
I feel like we're of mixed minds about this. Rosemary, you said you would like to press this matter?
I think it's a good theory, but I don't want to rule anything out if that doesn't feel like what we think happened. I don't.
Oh no, dear.
I don't know.
I think you misunderstand. I think we're all in agreement of what happened. It's what we do with the information.
I mean, I would take it to Officer Ruth, but that's just, because he and I are buddies now. I've been working so hard to get in his good graces, and now I feel like we might be, getting somewhere.
Well, and just because we tip him off doesn't mean he's not going to still need our help.
Well, true.
No, I think that means he'll want our help more often.
You have a fair point. And we do think that Arlo is a man who would burn down a building.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah, you betcha.
All right. Well, Rose, dear, do you want to be the one to tell old Ruth?
I would be delighted, but I feel like maybe we should all go because my memory just isn't what it always has been, and perhaps I'll miss a thing, and if he doesn't have all the information, he might not be able to press charges.
Oh, that's true.
A fair point. So...
Which one of you is going to roll the
I can do
theorize?
that. It won't be good, but I can do it.
Sure, take it.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you. So the difficulty was 6 on this, and I'm going to give you the number of clues that you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So yeah, put 2 as your modifier.
Oh, we nailed it. 8 clues. We only needed, 3?
Yeah.
Haha.
Oh,
Overachievers, the lot of us.
So what am I rolling?
The move theorize on your character sheet, and then on the prompt put 2.
Hey, critical success.
holy shit. That's
Yo.
critical success. Yay!
Nicely done.
And then a person involved with a dark conspiracy.
We're all about to have a Minette reaction. We're all going to wonder about our meds, and we have been drinking the tea.
So you guys go to Officer Ruth with this?
Yeah. Just march on down to the station. He's going to want to hear this right away.
We power walk down to the station.
We're going to get down there at a brisk 2.5 miles an hour.
As the night Mavens now come into the police office, you see Officer Ruth there. He's like, "Good evening, ladies. What can I do you for?"
Well, we think we've solved your murder.
Okay. Okay. We're thinking it's
That
who?
Arlo fella. Real shady character.
Great.
Well, I'm pretty sure he hired at least part of the security staff to help him.
I mean, we do have solid evidence that he was blackmailing Edward after having worked for him.
No, we do believe he was involved in a blackmail plot against Edward, who probably didn't pay him to set that fire on old little Milton's building. And missing security footage.
I think they are on his payroll because they deleted the security footage, and they're not very helpful except for if you need the restroom.
I have no idea what that means, Rosemary, but I'll take your advice on that. Okay.
And a thermostat that was jammed all up about the time that he started sweating all profuse-like. And, all those security fellas, they could reach that thermostat, but nobody else could.
It had to be somebody who was close enough to Edward to get in without raising suspicion. It had to be somebody who knew his habits, like somebody who's worked with him before. And it had to be somebody who had access to the security room and could have erased the footage. And that narrows the pool down significantly.
And that thermostat is right by the security room.
It's just right there. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Well, I'm glad that you came to that conclusion because on my way to find our caller, well, let's say Officer Ruth was driving along and in the dark forest, and let's say a man jumped out in front of his car and got ran over.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
That's just awful.
Yeah, it is, but it was because I was in pursuit of a murderer, you see. He is currently in the hospital.
Oh, well, that makes it a little
now,
better.
And will be charged with the murder of one Edward Stork. Okay. Well, I'm just going to tell you my honest opinions about all four of you. Adelaide, I don't know what to make of you. Doris, you seem nice. Rosemary, you seem too nice. And Minette, I'm afraid of you. Anyway.
Hold on there.
Thank you,
hold
ladies.
on there. Do you have our deputy badges ready yet?
I think you actually see his head hit the desk. I only have badges for teenagers. Do you want the teenage badges?
Well, until you get the official ones, I suppose that will
Yes.
As he opens the drawer, he goes, one for you, one for you.
Doris pins it on immediately. She's so proud.
Yeah, same.
One for you. And it says, official deputy of Pennsylvania town with a dog in a cop hat giving a thumbs up. And he goes, well, it's been an experience, ladies.
It surely has.
But thank you for your help. I can only assume we'll work together again.
Oh, geez, yeah, you just let us know anytime.
I sure hope so. It's been an honor to help you out tonight and solve this crime and help keep our community safe.
And thankfully you're correct because I ran over a man tonight. Anyway. As he looks around, he goes, also, I found this in my glove compartment, but addressed to you guys, which is weird.
Well, someone knows we're working with you.
Word gets around very fast in this town.
Mm-hmm. So here you go, ladies. It's weird that I'm also a male guy now.
I assume Minette takes it in her sleeve before taking it back out and opening it.
I only have two.
They're both full.
Okay, I'll do that, but I don't have the sleeve, so I just kind of crumple up the letter and then pull it back out in a wad and open it up.
Like, we had a little too much tea earlier.
As you open it up, it is in a very fine calligraphy, and you see that the message says, "So terribly sorry about scaring you earlier, Minette. However, I do count myself a very lucky woman now. Our gaze won't fall on you as much as it has been. Sincerely, and there is no name."
I literally got goosebumps.
Well, isn't that just the bee's knees?
Doesn't that just be all?
Mon Dieu.
Well, congratulations, Murder Mavens. You solved the mystery.
Ba, 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 ba.
thank you for listening to What's Your Damage? Long Shots, Brindlewood Bay, featuring Ray Palmer as Adelaide Woods, Kate Ingram as Minette LeBeau, Sadie Blake as Doris O'Malfi, and special guest Leah Ashley as Rosemary Starr. Elliot Rose was the game master. Audio engineering and music by Elliot Rose. Sound effect attributions can be found on our website at wydpod.com.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. You can find more of What's Your Damage on Apple Music and Spotify or on our website, wydpod.com. We've got maps, just gorgeous character art, and tons of lore for Onisno. There's also going to be a sign up for our newsletter, which features content warnings for all episodes upon release, because we think that's super important. And for those of you that want to chat with us on social media, because you love us so much, you can find us at WYD Pod, and that's WYDPODD on Instagram and Threads, as well as a bunch of others listed on our website. In case you don't like those first two, you can find us elsewhere, because if there's a place to be, we're probably there already. So, please stop by, say hi. We would all genuinely love to hear from you.
I will say one of my favorite things about this is like what we said earlier, which was like the nice thing is there's no actual answer. We just have to come up with it, and then seeing you guys work through it, like, no, but it doesn't make sense.
Look, it has to at least function.